YouTube. So, this will be an interesting video. So, disclaimers first off, I am going to talk about my path, my experiences with it, my struggles with things. So, if you feel entirely different than this, that's cool for you. You do you, boo-boo. You go on, do your own thing. But of course, as always, comment down below in the comment section and we can have a little lovely discussion about it. I want to talk about the word harm and harm none and the whole Wiccan thing. The Wiccan read and why it brings up such debate. And how recently I've been kind of having a conniption with words in general. So this is interestingly leading into harm, how I feel about the word harm. And what does constitute harm? I've kind of discussed throughout this channel. I might make a very specific video all about this, but words don't have just one definition. They have multiple definitions. They reach out to multiple different things. Someone who's experienced love, there is familial love, there is romantic love, there's platonic love. There's so many different loves you can even have. And even beyond just specifying down an exact word's meaning, you can look up the Webster Dictionary of something, but that doesn't mean that that person's experience with that word and with things that have come around with that word is not greatly different from your own. All meanings with feeling that people have experienced to come into a word all have value, I feel. I think that's half the reason we have such a miscommunication about things, is that one word is extremely casual for you, it doesn't mean anything, versus another word really means a huge problem to somebody else. To you, like, why would you be offended by that? Why are you really deeply insulted by this word? Why the other person goes, it's only been used in a demeaning, insulting way to me. It's only been used in a way to take away my power or my ability to do something. You know, and those are words that like kind of bring on titles. So we have things like the word bitch, for example. Some might see it as something playful, some just to call somebody, maybe it's like reclaiming of the word. I have weird things about reclaiming because I don't know how much it is reclaiming words as just opening up the fact that, yeah, words have multiple meanings and it doesn't have to be all negative or all positive, right? Like, I don't really think you can totally erase a partial meaning of a word. You can just add on to it or expand upon it, I guess. So when it comes to the word harm and basically whether or not I identify as a Wiccan still, because currently I still do, because harm none, do what you will seems to be a really integral part to my particular craft and how I'm negotiating and managing things. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I think that witches who don't subscribe to that are going around and being bad witches or anything like that. Like, no. That's just like how I am choosing to look at that word and with my own craft and how I blend it all into my spirituality and everything else. Like, I'm trying my hardest to not necessarily put harm as much as I possibly can, that I'm only influencing my own life and my own vibe in the universe and doing things of this nature because I don't know how it could harm other people. And what does constitute harm? Is it harmful if I am casting a love spell and I am therefore making all the guys around me anxious because they clearly are not the ones for me? Was that harmful? I might have caused an anxiety attack. Who knows? Is it harmful if I am using bones in my practice? Because, you know, maybe that bone was just something that was acquired, like it was just a dead animal sitting there. It died of natural causes and someone picked up the bone and decided to clean it off, sell it to the bone room. I buy it from the bone room and we're done. Does it naturally have harm in it? Or is the use of using animal bones even push certain people to go, oh, I can, you know, go out and hunt animals and use their bones in my art or in my craft and that type of deal? Is that part of, you know, some of the thing I'm putting off? Am I causing harm by even showcasing that? You know, for me, I wrestle with that just a little bit because part of me wants to eventually move towards vegetarianism or maybe even veganism down the line. Who knows? You know, depending on more research and things that I do with it and if it does align with me. So is me using animal bones a part of it? Or even just casting spells in general, or, you know, communicating and talking about spirituality. You know, how much of me expressing myself even, and feeling like I'm empowered to say these things, does that in some way encroach on someone else's belief? By me telling everyone in the world about Christianity that none of your holidays are valid, because they all came from paganism. You cannot sit here and judge everyone else, or say that that is 100% yours, because it's not, it's pagan. That's just me telling the history, but is it also harmful? You know, this word can be such a huge thing. I think so many people see harm and they only think of like the very strict version of the word. Like, to harm someone is to, you know, lay hands on them in a negative way, to not push people's boundaries, to not force someone to do your will through blackmail or through coercion or things of this nature. And maybe that coercion includes magic and spells. And that seems like such a black and white version, but really harm can cover such a variety of things. And that really becomes, what is harmful? What has felt that has been harmful to you in your life? What have you done to harm others? You know, I don't really see that manipulating one thing or another to help better my life, or regardless of the ripple effect, because maybe I haven't had to witness that ripple effect to its extent, is harmful, because I haven't seen the harm created by it. I've only seen the benefit reached by me. But then there's other things where, you know, maybe that is harmful. Maybe I could suddenly see the harm in me calling out all the things about Christian holidays that are wrong. I could see people, I was harming the event. I was harming how people felt about their religion, about their faith. And that's like, you know, maybe that's their journey to take on. It's not on me to impose my beliefs and my sets onto them with that. So it's an interesting thing, because I still feel like that word works very well, because I don't want to cause my version of harm on people. I don't want to take away their freedom of choice or their free will or their ability to, you know, get the certain thing. So I probably won't ever bind somebody or curse or hex people, just because, one, I feel like that wouldn't be causing harm in some way, and also I feel that my energy is better spent elsewhere. It's not just what harm am I causing, you know, not just like don't cause harm, but also where's the benefit that I'm really getting. And for me, I don't get any benefit out of harm. When I cause harm, there is no direct benefit for myself. I don't see harming another person to get back at them for me, or to teach them a lesson doesn't benefit me in a way. So it's like, that's kind of like the causal aspect of it, and why I identify so well with harm none, do what ye will. And even that, to that extent, it's so much up for interpretation still, right? Like, this definition of this word is so up for interpretation, and it's why so many people say, well, if you do this, you're not a Wiccan, or you're not a witch, because you're causing harm, you're not following that tenet. One, not everyone subscribes to that tenet, and two, a lot of people have different definitions for this word. So if you have a different definition of harm, if you're like, I would put this definitely under the harm column, so I'm never going to do it. Or if you're like, you know what, I don't even care if it is harm. Like, tell me down in the comments below. What do you actually feel is harmful with magic? What do you feel isn't so harmful? And what are those things that are on that borderline where you're just like, it could be and it couldn't be. I can see both sides of it. And it would really take a very specific situation for me to be able to call whether or not I would do something. Like, I have to wonder if I cast a fair amount of protection magic around myself, and that protection magic may inadvertently harm someone somehow. You know, there are rebound effects to certain things. And I know this because sometimes when you go out and you do something and your intention is one way, and you end up hurting someone regardless of what your intention is. So even if my magic and my intention in putting things into the universe are to not cause harm, maybe there's some way that I am causing harm that I haven't thought of yet, that I need to reevaluate and grow on as a person, and, you know, see how I can better help the world or not harm the world more, and hopefully come to a better magical conclusion with it. But yeah, the harm none, do what ye will thing definitely still resonates for me. So I would definitely still feel that I'm an eclectic Wiccan in a sense, as opposed to an eclectic witch, or, you know, just a spiritual person who likes the witchcraft type of deal. Like, Wiccan still very much kind of falls under my beliefs in some sense, but it really all comes down to that harm, how I feel about that word, how I feel about using harm none, do what you will as my main decipher for whether or not I should move forward with something magically. Anyway, guys, I make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Comment down below, or like and subscribe if you're all about it. Hit the little notification bell so you know for sure you're getting notified of my videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.